He's in control. He's the master of his masters. I can do business with you, right? Master's talking to a master, now the master talking to a slave, a sovereign. I'ma license you, my materials. You don't own my materials anymore.
Red and blue, purple like Prince. Red and blue, purple like Prince.
I want you to kind of like talk about the actual show for a little bit, right?
Yes, let's get into that.
Because, you know, me and you was watching it
live.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Live before it came on. We seeing the commercials, the gin and juice, all of the different things.
Yeah.
And then the show starts, and it's like, you know, I feel like all the guys in red went first. Like the top first 5 artists all red, then the next 5. So kind of explain the organization in the show all the way to when Kendrick is up there and it actually was commanding and running and putting things together.
Okay, so let's go back a few thousands or maybe hundreds of years to what they would call a war dance, right?
Okay.
That the Native Americans would have in times of battle, not before the battle, in victory, the victory lap, right? So in the victory lap, you would have, it would either be on mounds or it would be in that same type of setting that you saw in the stadium where people would circle it around and give it that type of energy, right? So you have everybody and the acoustics and everything, and you would bring on the infantry, you would bring on the front line, right? That was DJ Head bringing out those quote-unquote smaller acts, right? But remember, this is a frequency war that we're fighting, right? Drake was defeated in a frequency war, not just a frequency war, in a war on higher principalities. Because like Blue said, he's unprincipled. And somebody who is principled, who does show discipline, who does show mastery, who does show quote-unquote a master of the craft, right? Because there was a dichotomy that took place that night between the red and the blue, and there was also another dichotomy. There was so many dualities. There was rappers, and then there was MCs out there that night.
Facts.
And if anybody wanted to really see what the difference was, right? And why we said, you know, we put in Drake as a great rapper, but we're putting Kendrick as a master MC, a master of ceremony, right? In the 50th year of hip hop, like I said, this was the quote unquote, on August 11th is when it, or August 12th is when it, you know, it turns 51. But to see the West come together, to see the colors come together, to see all of these demonstrations, we saw the East do their thing, right? Kendrick and Friends represented the core of the West right now. Right, so he brought those earlier acts out. DJ Head, who reminds me of, like, he would be the equivalent of the East Coast mixtape DJ, and the DJ breaks new acts.
Like K-Slay.
Like K-Slay. K-Slay.
Like a West Coast
right, he's like a K-Slay. Right, and what did K-Slay do? K-Slay, R.I.P. to K-Slay. The 5 elements of hip-hop, the 5 pillars of hip-hop. One of them is the DJ. The DJ was the one that was responsible for breaking the artist. He introduced the artist. Even DJ Clue as a mixtape DJ introduced you to the artist, because the minute he put Clue on it, it was over. Funkmaster Flex as a DJ with the bomb, he breaks new acts. He tells you what's hot. I remember the Benjamins got 15 bombs dropped on them. He hit Otis 30 times. So he brings out these newer acts that people that may not be, they are regional stars, because you saw people in the audience reacting and getting hyped when they saw their local artists pop out, right? And like you were mentioning, it started out red, right? Kendrick representing the red, you give credence to your people first. You don't put nobody in front of the gang or the members, right? Nobody is bigger than what?
The gang?
The program.
The program?
Yeah, program. This was a victory lap, not really a war rally. It's just a victory lap. You know what I mean? In the LA sense, on the west side. You know what I mean? Done the way that they do.
In Inglewood.
In Inglewood of all the blackest.
Like territory?
That's the heart of it. That's
the
hub. That's the hub. That's where Drakeo, the ruler, lost his life.
In that same stadium?
No.
Okay.
But in
Inglewood, right? So the acronyms for blood is
Brotherly love overriding oppression and destruction. Community revolutionaries in progress. So that's what you saw on that stage. That's the demonstration that the world saw. That's that symbolic gesture that y'all might talk about, but like Blue Pill opened up, only the eyes can see as far as the brain is developed. Right. So how would you expect children that are born into the, you know, they're generation that are born into this quote unquote Bloods and Crips thing. They don't understand the aspect of Tukey in them. They don't understand the bastards of the party. They were not alive before it hit the quote unquote. They didn't see it on in Hollywood.
They know the internet era of it.
They know the internet era of it.
Or, you know, they just know it where they know it from.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
They know the totality of the narrative. And that's many different stratas of generations that go down.
Facts.
We just happen to come from a time when that conversation was alive because we saw it during the LA riots and the importance of it. And there was a whole musical movement behind it to explain what that was about. We all in the same gang, right? They had the Bloods and Crips albums and they was tying the flag.
They had to tie the flag with the hands tied and everything.
We seen it move through music. Then I saw it when it came to New York and they had to have gang con, and I was in small rooms with only select amounts of people were allowed to be in. When they was having these meetings amongst the gangs. I was there when T. Rogers came to New York. At the Messianic Temple on 125th Street and spanked, you know, did some spanking. I was there.
And when it came to Supernova's
I was
temple.
there, in Newark with Supernova when they had the gang conference out there and unified the Heal the Hood movement, you know, and I done seen it on mad different stratas. I've been over there when it unified. I was there for Nipsey when it unified. I was there for that entire particular run. You know, I lived in Baldwin Hills and on Crenshaw, and I would wear red and blue neighborhoods and blue and red neighborhoods and not know the difference and get salutes and passes because they knew who we were from TV and YouTube doing the work on the East Coast. Right? But they would always tell me, your tribe is in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? What you represent don't exist out here. Right. you might want to go to Oakland and type in and find that tribe out there. They be talking that, you know what I'm saying, unity shit, but it's gang over here. We respect what you're doing, gang and everything, but you got on red in the blue neighborhood. We get it. But you know what I'm saying?
Just be careful,
bro. Be careful because we, you know what I mean? Our shit ain't gonna change because y'all niggas, you feel me, drinking sea moss.
That's real shit.
But we dig it. We understand what's being said because it's a remnant of the revolution. Right. You know what I mean? So it's not total ignorance. Right. But the lifestyle is locked in.
It's locked in. And the Messianic one amongst them who, you know, he had the formula.
When you look at you know, as far as the show, it goes into that. Then we see him reunite with the black hippies who people thought they were broken up, which I thought when I saw that moment, him bringing Schoolboy, him bringing J-Rock.
It was,
you know what I'm saying?
It was so relieving because, again, for me, I remember being in the studio with Nipsey on 23rd Street at Johnny Shipe's studio when he was recording with J-Rock and Kendrick was on the couch, you know what I'm saying, with no music out per se. People knew that he was a beast. Right. You know, Nipsey spoke on it, but he wasn't yet known. So I know where he came from, riding in the back of the whip. And now he's in the driver's seat. And I saw his reverence for his brothers and his humility that he was tall as a giant through that whole concert, but he was when
they formed Voltron
with them, he was still Lil Kenny, you know what I mean? And it wasn't like they were sonning him. He was just like, you felt it like, these are my big bros, regardless of where I go with this career. I still look up to them.
Right, once again, victory lap, right?
At the core.
Yeah, it was a victory lap. It was a dance. It was a coronation. It was a ceremony.
Right. So Schoolboy brought that blue back.
Schoolboy, he blew out the whole spot.
Right. He brought that blue frequency, and you got to bring the energy. You had to cut through the terrain. Son he had to morph. He had to wild and morph through that energy. He had to
the same way Tyler had to come through it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you just couldn't hop out. You had to.
You had to hop out and
do
show
your
niggas.
thing. You had to hop out and show niggas.
It was a stage.
But
That's why the clowns in there. You had to hop out and show.
Tommy the Clown, yeah.
Tommy the Clown got 30 minutes. Hop out, pop out,
Facts.
pop out and show niggas.
But
kids,
always
man,
keep in mind to the war dance, the crump. Always keep in mind the Messianic Messiahs, how we would dance as the lost tribe, the Hebrew Israelites, and how the tribes are out here. Remember the footwork. That's all I'm trying to say. Remember this, it's a war dance. This is not a concert. This is a victory lap, but it's a war dance. Understand who they are on the West. You know what I'm talking about? Like Blue is pointing out. Know that these people that are in the gangs, they really, if you look at their phenotypes, they tribe.
Yeah, and you.
These are
look at it
tribal.
like that.
These are
Right.
and
Bloods or the people who comprise majority-wise the areas that are Compton. They come from the Mississippi Delta, by way of Chicago and the Midwest and things such as Kendrick. His folks come from Chicago.
Yeah.
Those are Midwest. So that's Chickasaw, Cherokee, Yamasee, right? Those are your more melanin and rich bloods. Whereas when you see Crips and you think about Crips, think about Cowboy, think about Nipsey, think about Snoop,
Right.
think about
the phenotype.
think
Look
about
at
the phenotype, right? They got that wavy hair
Right.
that you can braid up. They got elongated phenotype, almost like ours, and they're more so on a not lighter skin, but they're not necessarily the deeper melanated archetype or phenotype that you would associate with bloods. So this is just a cultural distinction that we see, whereas you would look at them and they will more so be, the indigenous types that come from different aspects and sections of Carib.
Even in Brooklyn.
Right, yeah.
Look at the blue in
Indian.
Brooklyn.
You feel me?
Right.
And different aspects of, where the tribes emerge from to have that particular tone and texture, if you
Right.
will. Without making this, I'm just saying.
But it's tribal war. At the end of the day, it's tribal war. And, we're giving it different names and whatnot. But there's tribes at war. So what we saw with the black hippies coming together before the tribes came out is, him repairing any rumors, him, without, remember, in silence. Right? For all of you niggas that like to, get your buttons pushed and you go, you know what I mean? And you have to have the last word and everything has to, no. Kenny showed you, right? Masterclass. Past few months, I don't know what nobody talking about. Masterclass.
Like letter G and lasagna.
Every day I eat. I get up and eat, man. It's a masterclass. It's bowls of food.
Shit.
Yeah, food for thought out here.
It's grown man
shit. You know what I mean? Grown man bars. Something you gotta deal with.
Yeah.
Then we got Lux with his everything is tied together. It is a shift. It's an undeniable shift. 2024, Cat Williams effect. It is an undeniable shift as to what you're witnessing. You would fare better by making some music. Capture this lightning in a bottle, nigga. 1994, cause I was there. I was outside, nigga. I was active. 1994, feeling like 2024 for the energy, the music, the shift, the cultural importance. There's no more going back to whatever the fuck frequency or whatever channel you were on when homie was sitting on the throne. This is Game of Thrones. He did get taken off the throne. He is his shit is on a spike somewhere. Are you dumb?
Yeah, you're not looking at a defeat, you're looking at a dismantling.
It's more than a defeat.
The obliteration of a brand.
Facts.
But with that particular brand comes the influence attached to it, which again makes the people that he was susceptible, if he removes his covering, they remove their covering as well.
Right.
So I think we're gonna see the whole thing eventually come tumble down because it was a symbolic loss, because the way that they roll still, whether you secular or not, it's all for one with them. What happens to one of them could happen
to all of them. Right. They're like a hive mind.
They're like a hive
They're
mind.
a hive mind. Yeah. They're like a hive mind. So the chips will continue to fall. The dominoes will continue to fall. The emperor has no clothes. The minute, remember, they had one of theirs cast a spell over our people. So this group of people that we're speaking of, right? every time that they hear Kendrick is about to release a new song, or every time Kendrick comes together and shoots a video, or from this point on, anytime he does anything, they got to get some Pepto-Bismol because they don't know if that's going to be the song that's going to blow them up and out them. Because all he has to say at this point is who he is as the true and living. He just got to drop one gem and say, if there's a They Not Like Us remix and somebody is bold enough to say, look, they not like
who they is.
If somebody bold enough to say who they is, right? Because it's still ambiguous because you haven't defined who they is.
Yeah.
Like I told you before.
I mean, you know,
that last
Drake is kind of like the silhouette for what we think they is.
He's an archetype.
Yeah.
He represents that.
What you thought when Dre came out, or he brought out Dre and he come from under the stage and then, you know, pop out?
Again, you know, that's Dre. He's the Undertaker, right? He emerged like the Undertaker,
right?
But he's the legend. He built this shit. Like he said, he's the foundation, and he's the one who emerges victorious because no one has ever really decided or deciphered who won the proverbial East or West Coast war, because that initially was a culture war that started with when the East Coast was pushing and popping off on NWA because they came out.
They was popping on Dre
like
via
how
Ice
Kendrick
Cube.
Was like, I realized they don't like us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got an issue with us. It was the same conversation that was happening in Dre's day. When they came, they was attempting to delegitimize their right to even be on the stage, let alone, you know what I mean, shit. Right. In the limelight of where hip hop represented, they got told so many times this ain't hip hop. Look at me now. Dre is the last one that emerges, especially out of the big three. If you think about Jay-Z, because I told you the main big three is the three Billies, Diddy, Jigga, and Dre.
Right.
So look at the last Billy Goat standing, and the lamb that comes from the Billy Goat. This is his win as well. That's his seed.
Right, because he came back. He came back shooting with the white boy.
And the two New York niggas like they under pressure.
Sure. Yeah, the two Billy look like they're about to be Curry Gold in a minute, right? But Drake came back with Eminem after he basically got pushed. Remember, Pac banished him.
Yeah.
Pac,
Dre, you said Drake or Dre?
Dre.
Yeah.
Ice Cube destroyed him, humiliated him, but Pac buried him. And then he came his re-emergence, right? The same and
his rebirth.
His rebirth was
aftermath.
His aftermath after Tweet didn't work.
And he had
Rakim. Rakim, he brought Rakim, the God of Law, to usher him back in. And I guess Rakim's spirit, it didn't happen because it wasn't supposed to at that time.
Yeah.
And Eminem ushered him in. The interesting part is that Kendrick decided to rap a song over Eminem's verse. It sounded better than him. Still Dre. That was a Jay-Z written song with M on it. Kendrick sounded better on it, by the way. And once again, victory lap. Right? Victory lap. They were saying that him and Dre wasn't good like that. Right? They were saying that him and TDE wasn't good like that.
Yeah, facts.
So him and Black Hippie is TDE.
Dave Free.
Dave Free. And the wife is in the audience. She was in the audience with the children. Dave East was at the top of the executive producer.
Everybody that they try to say.
Everybody say he wasn't good was there.
Right.
So if you start kicking down all of the pieces on the board, right, that the boy might have as the pieces on the board, right, again, thus, you know, delegitimizing any aspects or access to a win if you don't got nothing to stand on, right? And think about it, the ideology and the philosophy, just to show you that this shit is beyond just a defeat, it's an obliteration and a destruction.
It's the end of an era.
And you're gonna start seeing the physical you already seen the physical manifestations when the shots rang out. And I'm not saying it was directly responsible, but I'm saying as a spiritualist, you know this shit starts from one realm and comes to another
realm.
When you remove the covering of a person, or you got that energy or animosity on you, you're gonna start attracting negative things to you. You no longer have a covering.
Right. The covering is gone.
the emperor has no clothes.
That's when that's why the shots rang out.
And you get packed up and you get sent up out of town.
You in Texas.
You feel me? All of this is symbolic to the defeat of what happens with the other destructions. They think that you can't Humpty Dumpty, you can't put that shit back together.
Mm-hmm. You feel me?
It's a wrap.
This is what
you got: children, babies,
little ones
talking about you a pedo.
Hey,
everybody, grandmas.
It's an anthem. An anthem turns into an engram, right? An engram is that shit that you wake up singing in your head like jingles. You wake up and it's on replay.
Facts, it is.
You like they not like
us. We've seen this before with Nas.
Yeah, when the ether was burning slow. See, the only thing Aubrey got going for him is he a scorpion. Scorpions resurrect. He could rise out of these ashes. Mm-hmm. That's his superpower, right? He's like the Asian chick on The Boys, where she regenerates.
Yeah, he may have his Phoenix moment.
He may have his Phoenix moment.
These are the burning coals that are necessary.
Yeah, because he died a few, like, you know what I mean? Not say Common killed him, but Joe Budden.
He ain't died this.
Like,
he ain't died like
Pusha
this.
Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he died with Pusha. He died on that hill.
He caught a slug. But
it's like Jason.
But he regenerated.
Right, it's like Jason Voorhees.
Highlander got your head.
Right, Highlander didn't take his head.
And he took your head with him.
Right.
And showed that shit on stage. So it's like, can your body regenerate?
Right, and he's turned into Homelander. Highlander caught up with Homelander.
Since you know, yeah, speaking about this, like as far as the end of the show, when he actually starts, you know, They Not Like Us. That first book, Dre goes. You know, it says,
he intros it.
I see dead people.
He intros it.
And then he goes first time, second time, third time. Like, he just keeps, to the point where he starts bringing.
Five Alive.
Yeah,
right?
5 times. Yeah, altogether 5 times.
Once again, war dance.
Yeah.
Nothing that was done was not intentional. Yeah. It was a ceremony. It was a war dance. In today's 50th year, in the shadow of the 50th year of hip hop. But when I say hip hop, I ain't talking about Hip Hop Inc. That's that shit that these suckers is on. I'm talking about higher,
infinite power, healing,
our
people. That's where hip hop is. That's what and I ain't make that up. That's really what hip hop is. Higher, infinite power, healing our people. So healing is taking place. There's a war going on outside with the tribes and whatnot. They need healing. The only thing that any of y'all who are or anybody, if you can't offer a solution, you only have an opinion. What have you done? Where's your work? What concert did you throw where you brought the people together, right? And I'm talking about the main people, not the people who are extensions of the people, the core of it, right? There was only one person on record that could actually do that. He did it. More is going to be done as a result of that. The respect level that melanated people was losing around the world, right? It has an opportunity to be restored. And I'm going to leave it at this. If we could see these people coming together who have blood ties and blood beefs and blood rivalries, right? What about people from our communities? Mm-hmm. And what about those who know that they need to put all of their petty differences to the side and all of these sassy, aggressive types that are amongst us?
What about the ones that call themselves leaders? Have they exhibited this level of unity? Right? They said that we've done everything and the only thing left for us to do is to unify.
Right.
But you got to set the example, and then it becomes like, you know, magnetic, and it magnifies, like it attracts other people to do the same thing.
Right.
Globally, it becomes an international force, a wave.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, hopefully this starts a wave and a trend of people putting down petty beefs and unifying, because we got a real enemy clamoring at our door. They got plans for us like we sweeter than bear meat.
Like we sweeter than bear meat. And can you put your ego to the side to get behind people who are out here on the front lines, winning the wars and whatnot, and putting points on the board? You know what I'm talking about? can you get on the stage and can you show quote unquote unification? Can you show brotherhood and whatnot? Because the irony in the whole situation is they just passed a bill to bring in the draft and whatnot. So for everybody that wants to talk about what the gangs is this and the gangs is that and the gangs ain't this, you literally about to lace up your boots, throw on some fatigues, and go fight an illegal war for a corporation and an entity that is looking at you as cannon fodder, gang, Uncle Samuel and whatnot. And you not gonna say nothing, them people gonna get in your face. Matter of fact, more than likely the way that the army is set up these days, it's gonna be Saucy Santana getting up in your face. A dude with a beard with high heels on. That's your drill instructor, and they're going to deputize you and turn you into a quote-unquote brainless killer for the corporation. But you had the opportunity to put some damn Timbs on, you feel me, and some fatigues on, and really get on stage and put in some fucking work for some real people that you really know. You feel me? They out here doing all kind of stuff to your blood and to your homies and to your day ones, and y'all don't want no smoke. You ain't spinning no blocks. You not talking about no type of justice, but you about to get deputized and sent into some type of quote-unquote trap, right? So when we see brothers from the street organizations, and if you would look through the lens of hip-hop, you can't necessarily point out any other organization that we can have as a standing army in case Project 2025 pops off and the White Walkers want to act up, in case Civil War pops off, in case a lot of things pop off. These are mercenaries when things go bad. Y'all gotta be able, you better be ready to afford them. Yeah. They gonna be for hire if you don't really sit down and put some things together, because I think at this point, the NOI and the FOI, they have an easy pass, and they have a visa, and they have a passport into further negotiations on how to make these two tribes stronger and more efficient and whatnot, because they the ones that been showing the true proof of work in LA and in other places. The gangs know them by face. They don't know some of you other dudes by face. Y'all might be known from the phone and Instagram, but they know the NO, they know RZA. You know what I'm talking about? Like you seen Kendrick dapping them up. They know the Farrakhan. They know Nuri. They know Wesley. They know brother Ben X. So the nation is qualified to sit with them. But there's a Voltron in our community, and everybody is almost, you know, I don't hear no calls for a unification rally. I don't hear no, you know what I mean? They just gonna try to go viral, hating on people that's out here trying to be greater. So when that day comes, you know what I mean? Let us know. You know what I'm talking about? But what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna sit around and wait for anything. We're gonna put together our Voltron. We're gonna form our conglomerate. We're gonna get our table ready, and we're gonna get dressed for the party, because those with eyes can see. And I'm not gonna get on the internet and start, you know, talking about my next moves in this chess game. But life is great, man. Everything is going according to plan. It's up and it's stuck. Victory lap, my genius. The marathon continues.
But before we go, I want to ask y'all too.